Hello everyone, welcome to this edition of the Prime Time Newscast on Equinoxe Television, live from our headquarters in Cameroon's economic capital, Douala. I am Babla Jonathan. In our top stories, we take you to Bimbia. It is in the southwest region of the Republic of Cameroon, and we're going to show you the deplorable state of the road linking Manobe and Bimbia in the crisis-stricken southwest region of the Republic. And we'll also take you to the northwest and other parts of the southwest region where back to school, the first day of the 2021-2022 academic year, was watered down by Operation Ghost Town as a result of the close to 5-year-long armed conflict going on there. It was, however, a hitch-free start of the new school year in other parts of the country. And we'll also talk about the coup d'etat in Guinea-Conakry. We begin this newscast on the road linking Manobe and Bimbia in the southwest region of the Republic of Cameroon. That road is in a deplorable state. The bad state of the road is due to the fact that rehabilitation works came to a halt some months ago, and nothing has been happening there despite the cry of the population who are suffering because of the bad state of that road. Suman Jikan Gabriel was there. He brought back this report.
The inhabitants of Bimbia are in dire need of a motorable road into their locality, situated in Limbe 3 subdivision of Fako division.
I see other places, development is carried out and it's taken till the end. Why is it that when it comes to Bimbia, it always stops somewhere? Is it that it is blocked? Is it that some people don't want Bimbia to be developed? Is it that Bimbia has been declared a cursed land? I don't think that is what it is.
According to the signpost at Manoa Bay, the contract handed in 2018 was supposed to last for 8 months. 4 years after, the road is unbearable. Unfortunately, the nature of the road is getting worse, causing the breakdown of several projects to be done in the zone.
The youths are in pain. Why? Because now we are even running a project, but it cannot be carried out successfully because of the bad condition of the road.
The 3.5-kilometer road that was supposed to be done by now has left some buildings in the locality unused because of the poor road. Traveling from Manoa Bay to Bimbia or Dikolo now cost around 4,000 francs CFA, and only commercial bikes can easily do that. Even though slippery. As a result of the poor state of the road, income usually getting into the council coffers from tourists visiting the slave trade village has also dropped. Even though heavy-duty vehicles have been parked at a site where the company constructing the road has settled, things are not moving. A bulldozer supposed to be working on the road is also trapped in the mud and has been abandoned. The inhabitants of this zone are now looking up to government for the road to be done, owing to the fact that the road is leading to a historic site that might pull tourists during the African Nations Cup that Cameroon will be hosting.
And several construction and rehabilitation works like the one on the road linking Manobe and Bimbia in the southwest region of the country have been abandoned as a result of insecurity in those two regions. The authorities and the contractors have often blamed the situation on insecurity, and institutions have also suffered the consequences of the insecurity reigning there as a result of the Anglophone crisis. And one of those institutions is the Kumba District Hospital. Since it was set ablaze, some sections are yet to be reconstructed. Meanwhile, water and electricity supply are inconsistent in that health amenity. Derijato has more.
Kumba District Hospital is still very sick and begging to be treated. A hospital located in a junction town of Kumba, chief town of Meme Division, which in the past was reputed for its quality health care delivery, recently lost its glory when most of its wards were razed down. Feedback of the war at home with the armed conflict still ranges on. Medics say working here is very delicate, and as they sacrifice to save lives, their efforts should at least be accompanied with basic amenities like steady supply of water and electricity, which unfortunately are also near absent here.
We all know the issues of power supply in Kumba, which is very epileptic.
And Doctors Without Borders, operating in the southwest region, is intervening.
As you have seen today, they have supported the hospital with a giant generator of 165 kVA. They have provided 12,000 liters of overhead tanks.
The gesture was well lauded by both the local and administrative authorities of Meme Division.
Religious leaders and Roman Catholic Christians in Gaundere, Adamawa region of Cameroon, as well as in Garwa in the North region and Chad, are demanding justice should be done for the arrest for the persons arrested, and they should be punished, the persons arrested in connection to the assassination of the pioneer evangelist in North Cameroon and Chad, Yves Plomé. That was on the 3rd of September 1991. We have details in this report by Innocent Azim.
30 years after, religious leaders and Christians in Gaundere, Adamawa region, North and Far North regions, and even Chad seek justice on the assassination of Yves Joseph Marie Plomé, a Roman Catholic prelate of the Oblate of Mary Immaculate Congregation, on the 3rd of September 1991.
Nous savons que cette justice est à l'œuvre.
We know the demanded justice is on its way and will reach us waiting for 30 years in no distant time. We believe the justice will not be the one covering the assassins, but that which will shed light on the killers and result to their arrest accompanied by infringement. We are confident and trust the Cameroon justice system capable of protecting lives of all who live on the Cameroonian soil.
Ou qui espèrent vivre, n'est-ce pas, en toute quiétude en terre camerounaise.
Commemorating Yves Plomé's 30th assassination anniversary on September 3rd, religious leaders and Christians say a cornerstone and faith builder was taken from them.
Nous qui l'avons connu,
We know him to be a saint, and he preoccupied himself nurturing children. He was holy, never discriminating, encouraged living together and multiculturalism.
car sans lui, la plupart d'entre nous,
Without him, some of us wouldn't have continued secondary school. We sought help from Europe to cater for our school needs and feeding. He was a father of all.
et de tous les enfants du monde.
The Roman Catholic prelate, who became bishop, then Archbishop of Garoua from 1955 to 1984, also pioneer evangelist in North Cameroon and Chad, was killed at the age of 78 when he was Bishop Emeritus.
The governor of the Southwest region, Benau Khalid Bilai, says that the rate at which schools reopened today in his administrative unit indicates that the 2021-2022 academic year will be much better than the last academic year. And for the past close to 5 years, the academic activities in the Southwest and in the Northwest region have been seriously affected by the Anglophone crisis. Today, the governor was speaking in Limbe after the start of this academic year earlier today. Details with Derek Jado.
September 6, 2021, day one of school resumption in Cameroon. And this is the picture of Boya, the Southwest regional capital. The Monday Ghost Town is partially not effective as Southwest Governor Bernardo Kaliabilai taught schools in Faku Division, from Presbyterian Comprehensive Secondary School to Baptist High School, then the Government Technical High School in Boya, The government bilingual high school Limbe, Seka Baptist College, Sonora School, to government high school Batoke in Limbe, the Southwest governor had this to say.
For the first day, the situation is very, very encouraging. It is quite the same situation in Manfe, in Kumba, and in Bangam. The schools are open. Anja. The schools are open. The teachers, the administration of schools are there. Parents, some parents accompany their children to school. As I said, I hope that tomorrow will be better, and by the end of the week, we'll have more students than what we have seen today.
The administrative head of the region was accompanied by a delegation from the Southwest Regional Council, headed by its president, and the regional council handed some school materials to all the schools visited this day.
The Southwest Regional Assembly thought that to encourage you at the beginning of the school year, we bought some basic didactic material to enable you to kick off, so that there should be no complaints that you cannot kick off.
It is expected that the days ahead will witness more students and pupils in their various campuses.
In Douala, academic activities resumed effectively in several schools, notably in the Douala 4 subdivision, where there is a handful of young persons and children who were forced out of their homes by the Anglophone crisis, notably in the southwest and also in the northwest region, and who are now seeking refuge in that part of the city of Douala. Many of them returned to school today for their first time, and among them 8-year-old Akum Chevaline, whose parents were killed by unidentified gunmen around Bamenda. Details in this report by Glory Mala.
The school year 2021-2022 has been set on motion this September. After 3 months break, students in the economic capital, Douala, are excited to regain their classrooms. They got up this morning at 5 a.m. and were insisting that I take them to school, which I had to. In government bilingual high school Bepanda, the students were all set in their uniforms as they get acquainted with the campus while taking note of every release, and others gathered in groups of friends. Security officials were present to make sure the resumption was hitch-free. Despite being the first day of school, a strict control is applied to make sure students are in conformity with the school rules and regulations. The gate was open and they were controlling the appearance of the students. That is, if they are in clean uniforms, clean shoes, and if their uniforms are in the required sizes and shapes. At the government high school Aquanord, the discipline mistress added that measures were taken ahead of this day. The preparation was done before now. Everything was well arranged. This morning, which is the expected D-Day, we respected the tradition of Monday assemblies, through which we communicated the rules and regulations to the students in relation to the academic year. With the third phase of coronavirus pandemic, measures have been taken, such as the construction of water points, water buckets for hand washing, and a severe check on the wearing of face masks.
Malagrodi reporting there on back to school in the Douala 5 subdivision. Now back to the report on back to school in the Bonaberi Douala 4 subdivision, where we're talking about several IDPs, internally displaced students and pupils who return to school, some of them for their first time after several years out of school. And among them is 8-year-old girl, the 8-year-old Akum Chevaline, whose parents were killed somewhere around Bamenda in the northwest region of the country by unidentified gunmen. Her report.
8-year-old Akum finally goes to school after losing her parents in the Anglophone crisis. Close sources say her parents were killed on their way to Bamenda from Douala by unknown individuals.
Parents who brought the child here said this child was picked because the mother of that child was killed during that incident, and that parent could not allow the child to be killed, so he escaped with the child and brought the child to Douala, and then brought the child to our school, and then tried to find information to know more about the family of that child, to no avail.
The girl was raised by adopted parents until this day, when a new page in her life is opening with a new school year in Bonaberi, Douala 4 subdivision. Her adopted parents say their hope and prayers is to meet Akum's biological family relatives.
I have Auntie Sarah. I have Mommy Loving. I have Granny. I have CV.
In which quarter were they living?
Santa.
Which quarter are they living?
Santa.
In Santa. Thank you very much. A beautiful girl, right?
The ongoing crisis in the northwest and southwest has pushed away students out of these regions to
west region of the country. Academic activities also resumed, but at half-mast because of the Anglophone crisis and the ghost town widely being respected across the region. Ghost town imposed by secessionists, and Mbostela now fires in updates on the first day of the 2021-2022 academic year in the northwest region.
Many pupils and students in the Northwest region are yet to join the peers nationwide as the 2021-2022 school year kicks off this September 6th, 2021. Information from across the 7 divisions that make up the Northwest region suggests a low turnout. In Momo, Menchum, Bui, Gokitunja divisions and a greater part of Mezam division, pupils and students did not hit the street this Monday, day 1 of school resumption. Mondays are observed across the Northwest region as a ghost town day. It is a day instituted by separatists as a way of showing their control over Anglophone Cameroon. For fear of the unknown, many prefer to stay indoors. Despite the heavy rains that characterized Camber this morning, students and pupils still made it on campuses across the division on this day 1. Some of the schools in Camber Central Subdivision were visited by Simon Quenty, Senior Divisional Officer for the Donga Mantung Division.
My encouragements go first and foremost to the parents who, in spite of the rains, sent the children to the classrooms. The rains that have been falling since yesterday. I want also to touch on the funds, the ARDOs, the sub-chiefs, for their contributions in the mobilization, not leaving behind the vigilant forces who are very present on the field and who too are prepared to defend the education of our children in the division.
Unlike the last 4 years, more pupils and students traveled into the Northwest region this year to acquire education. Some observers therefore opine the 2021-2022 school year will witness many more children attending schools across the Northwest region.
Mbostela reporting there from the Northwest Regional Chief Town, Bamenda, now to Equinoxe, where the government has been toppled and the president still in captivity, so to speak, arrested by soldiers who are demanding that things be done properly in that country, that people should not continue suffering while corruption is growing in the country and other ills, according to them, perpetrated by government officials. For me, I'm Sanda Hasmo.
Reacting shortly after the coup leader, Colonel Mamadou Doumbouya, confirmed the arrest and detention of President Alpha Condé, the United Nations,
The African Union and ECOWAS condemned the coup and called for a return to civilian rule. The United Nations reaction came from its Secretary General Antonio Guterres on Twitter. The African Union's President Felix Tshisekedi and the African Union Commission's Chairperson Moussa Faki Mahamat called for the release of Alpha Condé. ECOWAS, through its President Nana Akufo-Addo, said the regional body was shocked by the situation in Guinea. Back to the country, thousands of civilians poured to the streets of Conakry to celebrate the fall of Alpha Condé, climbing onto military vehicles to greet soldiers draped with Guinean flags. Addressing the people on state television on Sunday, the new Lion Man of Guinea, Mamadi Doumbouya, said the soldiers had taken power to end rampant corruption, mismanagement and the non-respect of democratic principles. He also announced the dissolution of the constitution, the closure of borders, a nationwide curfew and the replacement of regional governors with military commanders. Talking to the BBC, Guinea's opposition leader and founding member of the National Front for the Defense of the Constitution said he had mixed feelings but welcomed the coup.
Ending the first part of this newscast, talking point is up next. Professor Akumbo Mark Anthony is our guest today. He's a Pan-Africanist, a civil society leader. Thank you for joining us today, Prof.
Thank you very much, Jonathan, for the opportunity to actually be here this evening to talk on the issues that are happening in Africa.
Professor, Alpha Condé goes down. The president of Guinea goes down, compelled to leave his position of president by soldiers. What do you think about this other coup d'etat in Africa?
You see, it is not something that came like a surprise, because in every French-speaking nation in Africa where a leader gets up and wants to stand against the colonial master, because I will still tell you, if you look critically, you realize that most of our African nations are not independent. As long as you, that puppeteering leader, sits there and wants to claim that maybe you already have the authority to take decisions, you will be removed without any delay. And the next person to remove you is standing by you. You see, when you look at Mamadi as an individual, you might tend to want to believe that he is working for the good of the people of Guinea. But there is no difference between him and the person who is presently in power, who have just been removed, Condé. He will be worse, even, because if you look at what Bokassa did in Central African Republic after he toppled his president, that's the same thing, and even worse, that Mamadi might do if he comes and becomes a president. If you look at the same thing that Blaise Compaoré did after killing Sankara, I want to tell you that will be the same thing that will happen to the people of Guinea. So, in relation to my understanding, it is preferable to actually work on the constitution and take power than to use arms to collect it. Why I make that statement is because if you look at it critically, we have in Cameroon, our president has been for more than Condé could ever be in power. I think this is the 11th year, and he had been toppled. Look, if you go to different countries, a place like Chad, the president ruled for 30 years, and for this, the moment he lifted up his voice and spoke against colonial power, that same moment his leadership ended.
Something happens later.
Yes.
And it should be noted that Alpha Condé recently made a statement in which he was indicating that links should be cut between the colonial masters and African countries.
Yes. You see, that is the thing that I'm talking about. When you follow the events of issues, the progress of events, you realize that in Abidjan, this same individual, Alpha Condé, was bold to say it is time for African nations to sever ties with Europe.
And some of their peers were not happy with that.
Yes,
Alassane Dramane Ouattara reacted immediately.
You know, when his reaction was like to correct him. It seems as if he had forgotten that we were on live. We were live. Then he claimed that I assume the responsibilities. You see, the whole atmosphere was tense because they knew. Ouattara also changed the constitution. Is in power. What has kept him there? He's playing according to the rules of the master. But Condé thought of doing something for his people for the first time. After 10 years of rulership, he thought for the first time that I need to work for my people. I need to empower my people.
But at the same time, there are also issues of long stay in power.
I am
to
sure
take a third mandate when you could give up to somebody else.
You see, this is the problem I have with democracy in Africa. We are not supposed to follow European concepts of democracy. The fact that Europeans put terms of office for their democracy does not mean Africa should do the same. Some people want that we should follow that system. I think there is a traditional African system that would have better work for African states than the European copy and paste system that they have brought. Democracy as per the European system is not what we need here. Africa succeeded before pre-colonial times. Africa was succeeding in leadership, and if you look at it, there are strategies that were used to change leadership, even in case the leader is against the people.
Right.
And it was not a means of, let me say, it was not coup d'etats set by individuals.
It was not the use of guns.
It was not the use of guns. There was a superior body that makes sure that the leader follows the rule.
Right.
But if he fails, he'll be removed.
He'll be removed from power. Right, Professor Akumbo Mark-Antony, Pan-Africanist civil society leader. Unfortunately, our time was quite short today. We're certainly going to have another time to discuss more about this. Thank you so much for your time.
Welcome.
Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for staying with us. La Presse Dispute comes up next from Yaoundé.